Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Hardware Podcast. My name is Jackson Danner alongside my good friend Omar Borja. And today we have a special guest, actually for the second time, Neil Boudreau, quarterback, punter, wide receiver, maybe to add to the resume here, and certainly NFL draft prospect that we're looking at. So Neil, how's it going?
It's going good. Happy to be here again on this Monday night and just excited to share my experience.
Absolutely. If you weren't aware already, Neil participated in the HBCU Legacy Bowl, which was on the NFL Network with Bucky Brooks and Steve Weishall on the call. So got the big lights treatment, right? So awesome to watch Neil. And yeah, let's get into it.
Absolutely. I mean, we saw Neil on the TV, and we like Leonardo DiCaprio, like pointing at the TV screen, like that's our guy.
I know that guy.
So it was pretty awesome, pretty sick. And yeah, I can't wait to get into it. So Jackson, you want to take first question or?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll go ahead and head on first. So Neil, first time we noticed you was for the coin toss as a team captain. Man, how do you get picked for that? That's awesome. That in an all-star game, end up representing the team. So was it kind of players, coaches that selected that? Kind of how'd that come about?
I think the coaches actually ended up selecting it, and it was awesome being out there for the coin toss because Pat Mahomes was out there and stuff too. So it was just pretty cool knowing that it was on national television, and also very cool to be selected by the coaches to be a captain of such a historic and just big game with all those players out there. It was super cool.
Absolutely. I mean, you mentioned Patrick Mahomes. Were you kind of sad that Jackson Mahomes wasn't there for the coin toss as well, or?
Yeah. I mean, I heard some guys say he was in the stands, but I don't know how true that was. But it was cool. Obviously, with Pat Mahomes out there, because he just said what's up to all of us, but he seemed like super down to earth guy, which is pretty cool, obviously, with all of his accolades and stuff like that.
Absolutely. I mean, I think it definitely contradicts the portrayal we see on the State Farm commercials with him asking for preferential treatment on his insurance. I mean, that's great to hear from you that he's a down to earth guy. So
yeah, for sure.
So I guess my first question regards, pull it up. So, I mean, of course, we know that you're a man of many talents on the football field. How easy or hard was the transition from quarterback to wide receiver compared to other transitions you've done before, like maybe safety to quarterback and whatnot?
Right. So my junior year in high school, I played some receiver, and then my sophomore year as well. So it was obviously a little bit going back to some of my high school stuff, but it was pretty fun. It definitely put me in a different perspective, a lot less knowledge and stuff on my shoulders in terms of the offense and stuff. So I was actually kind of helping out in the huddle every once in a while, just because I had less responsibility. So if someone didn't know the exact route, I felt like I knew that stuff pretty well because I only had to know one. So it was a really cool experience, and it just made me feel free out there, I guess. Just was out there playing, talking to the other guys, and trying to see what schools they went to and stuff like that. It honestly made it a cool experience because I was just out there kind of having fun and not putting any pressure on myself.
That's great to hear. I mean, I feel like Jackson and I talk about all the time about it being an audition, really, these all-star games. But I mean, at the very root of it, it's an all-star game. It's a celebration. It's a showcase. I mean,
right.
Part of it is audition, but that's great to hear that it was a fun experience and that you put your quarterback experience this year to good use. I mean, for the teammates, I'm sure they appreciated it.
Yeah, definitely.
Neil, you mentioned beforehand that Patrick Mahomes was in attendance, and I'm curious, were you able to, a couple of years ago, it might have been last year, I think it was against Baltimore, Patrick Mahomes actually dropped a ball that was thrown by Travis Kelce on a trick play. Neil, did Patrick maybe get a chance to come to you for advice on how to go from quarterback to receiver? Maybe in case he redraws that up again?
Yeah, unfortunately, I didn't chit chat with him too long. We just walked over and everyone really got a chance to high five him and just say what's up real quick. So no, nothing like that, but that would have been pretty funny.
Hopefully he gets your number, man, because he could
Yeah,
use some pointers on that
yeah, for
too.
sure.
So just saying.
Yeah, should have given my card.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely could have used it right there. I guess back on a serious note, so how different was the scheme ran by Coach Gaither Coach Gaither in this bowl game compared to what you ran at Morgan State this year? Was it, I mean, sort of similar or different?
So it was the Bowie State offensive coordinator was our offensive guy and offensive coordinator for the game as well, and they were pretty much spread, similar to the pigskin game I was in. So pretty simple, mostly mirrored routes and stuff like that. I think just obviously so the guys can pick it up quick, like just basic concepts. So pretty similar in terms of like foundational stuff to what I was doing at Morgan, which definitely helps a lot in games like that because there's not as much technical coaching. So you kind of have to bring your own understanding of the offense beyond just like some lines on a paper. So it definitely helped having some of the similar stuff and concepts. The run game, we weren't under center at all in the game. So the run game was a lot more just like zone stuff from gun and stuff like that. But pass game wise, it was very similar to what we were doing at Morgan, just basic like hook, flat, out, slant, all that type of stuff. So it was pretty good.
It's good to know because I know like a lot of the schemes ran in all-star games are kind of like a culture shock to some players. And Jackson knows way more about this than I do, I guess, in terms of like the 31 personnel, like whatever, like the requirements. But there weren't any like requirements like that, like I guess the tight end on the field all the time or not.
No, the only requirement I knew of during the game was that the defense couldn't blitz, and then we couldn't go in motion. And our tight end, I actually ended up rolling his ankle during practice that week, so we were pretty much with 4 receivers almost the whole game. But the Southern receiver, number 5 in the game, basically ended up playing that slot or tight end, whatever you want to call it, H back Y type of role, and he had a lot of catches. So yeah, it actually probably worked out really well for him.
As Bucky Brooks said on the broadcast, I believe, of the Legacy Bowl, he talked about how you want simple schemes so that you can see these guys play fast, not have to think about it because you want to see the talent, right? So makes sense. Awesome, not awesome, but glad that kind of worked out for the Southern receiver that he got a chance to play a lot of Y on there. But yeah, absolutely. I'll go ahead and go to my next question, Neil. So you were snubbed of an HBCU combine spot. Right. Looking at the roster on that, doesn't look like any other Morgan State players went either. Anyone from Morgan State that we can expect to see on maybe some UDFA trackers that, despite not making it to the combine, that we can expect to see?
Yeah, I think there was only a total of 3 guys who actually ended up being true seniors for our team. And the other main guy would be Wesley Woolfolk. He played receiver at Hampton University. He actually came in there as a quarterback and then switched to receiver, and then came to Morgan. I think in 2019 was his first year. But yeah, his brother was actually at the game. He played safety at Bowie State, and he was at University of North Carolina before that. So his brother played in the game with me, but then Wes, who he should have been at the game, who wasn't there, he'll definitely or potentially be on some of the undrafted free agent boards and stuff like that for sure. He was number 83 for us this year.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'll look at some film. I mean, I know Jackson will actually like, I mean, yeah, more so him. Like he's Mr. All 22. But yeah, no, I mean, it's good. I mean, it's interesting you say that there's only 3 true seniors, and I wonder if that's I guess more of a trend in college football now, especially like with the super seniors caused by the pandemic season.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. and then we were having new coaches and stuff at Morgan, so coaches kind of trying to I guess bring in their guys and stuff like that. When I got into the locker room, I think there was only one guy who had been there all 4 years, so it was definitely kind of had to rebuild the culture and stuff like that. But yeah, Wesley Woolfolk for sure is a name to watch out for.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, player agency, I'm all for it, but it seems like All-Star games kind of take a hit when it comes to this new era of college football. So, very interesting point indeed. I guess going on to my next question. Who was the toughest defensive back to sort of go one-on-one with? And I don't know if it was whether it's in practices with Team Gaither or actually during game time. Who was the toughest cornerback to go against?
Mm, let's see. I'd probably say during the game it was he wore number 0 at South Carolina State. He played defensive back. To be honest, I don't know his name, but he was really fast, and I talked to him a good amount during the week. And for me personally, he was probably the hardest to get off of because he was like I said, he was really fast. So even if I would beat him, he would had I guess good catch up speed and stuff like that. So I would definitely say him.
Pulled up the roster. Is that Zafir Kelly by chance?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because he wore 0 there as well. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, it just speaks to the depth that the Bulldogs had this year. I mean, of course, everyone knows about Jacoby Durant. I mean, that's honestly, as far as I was concerned, that was like the only like guy I knew on their defense. But
Right.
I mean, they're truly loaded. I mean,
Yeah.
Coach Pugh's got some shooters.
Yeah, and they were all young too. I mean, obviously, other than these the corners and stuff like that, and then there's a linebacker at the game as well. But like their whole D line, I believe, was underclassmen, so they're definitely going to be good in the upcoming years.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, I think the MEAC's open, but there certainly is a big dog out there.
Yeah, for sure.
Neil, I'm curious, how did the conversation go down that you would primarily be playing wide receiver in the Legacy Bowl? Was that a coach's decision? Is that something you approached them with? Kind of how'd that come about?
That's a great question. So I coming into the game, I obviously had wanted to play quarterback, so I went in and spoke with the offensive coordinator from Bowie State and asked him, "Hey, like, do you mind if I just sit in on the meeting and then potentially get some reps in at quarterback this week, stuff like that?" And so the special teams and receiver coach from South Carolina State, Steve Bird, he was also the special teams and receiver coach for our team, Team Gaither, during the game. And he kind of, I guess, took me with him. So I was with the receivers and with him punting and stuff like that. So then it just kind of made sense. And like I said, some of the one of the receivers had rolled his ankle and tight end as well. So they needed guys, and shoot, I'd rather do that than stand on the side. So that's basically how the story went.
Hey, just get me on the field and I'll make a play, right? That's all I have to do is just get me on the field. Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, just a quick break from the questions. So I gotta say, Neil, I mean, with Jackson bringing that up about you playing receiver and just coming in, I mean, that game might as well have been the 1942 East-West Shrine game at Tulane Stadium and not Yeoman Stadium, having a punter play wide receiver or split end. You know, I'm gonna make a bingo card for things we do on the podcast. Obscure historical references will be one of the squares on our podcast bingo card. But moving on to my next question. I noticed I guess which coaches helped you transition to receiver for this week the most? Was it I know you mentioned Steve Bird. Were there any other coaches that helped with the transition?
Yeah, honestly, I'd say primarily Coach Bird. He played at I believe it was Western Kentucky or Eastern Kentucky, and actually was in the NFL for 5 years. He said for the Saints, and I think he was primarily a punt returner there, but he said at his pro day he ran a 4.4, so he was definitely had some knowledge and wisdom behind what he was saying. And he just wanted us to go out there and have fun. And show we were athletic and stuff like that. So it was pretty cool that he was all for letting me just go out and play receiver, because he definitely could have not even acknowledged that I could, I guess. So it was pretty cool that he did that. Yeah, I'd definitely say Coach Bird.
Yeah, I mean, I guess more with Coach Bird, watching the Celebration Bowl, seeing Shaq Davis's performance, definitely like a good coach to have. I don't know what happens in the South Carolina State wide receiver room, but Shaq Davis put out some sick moves after his last touchdown. Did Coach Bird kind of teach you any of those dance moves that Shaq Davis pulled out? Or?
No, he just said celebrate with the team if we score, but he didn't go into the finite details of how to dance, I guess.
Good to know. I mean, because Shaq Davis really busted a move, and I may or may not have pulled that move out in a El Paso club or two in the past week or two. But okay, back to Jackson.
I guess the opposite spectrum of, I guess, the range of questions, I'll go ahead and go to mine, and just stick to football. Omar, come on, man. I'll go ahead. Neil, so with the combine, typically in a lot of all-star games, you have plenty of scouts and, hopefully a few GMs and all that in attendance, and they'll kind of take you in for questions and all that. Did you get an opportunity to hopefully do that, to kind of meet with some scouts, get asked questions, right? Was it, if you did, was it, personal questions? Was it all X's and O's? Kind of walk me through that.
Yeah. So during the evenings on most of the nights, some of the players would go down and speak with some of the scouts. My roommate, the tight end from North Carolina Central, went down and spoke to like 10 scouts during the week. I wasn't asked to go down and speak with them, but when I was at the Pigskin game, I did talk to 2 scouts. I talked to a Lion scout as well as a Jet scout, just kind of chit-chatting, but we were just going back and forth about football and stuff like that, and what it was like being a scout and how their time was after stopping from being a player and kind of transitioning into, I guess, their adult life and stuff like that. But yeah, to be honest, I didn't get requested to do any interviews or anything like that with the scouts during the week. But I know it was like, I think probably like 10 or so guys met with like 10 scouts, and then maybe a couple other met with a few. But then I think a lot of guys kind of felt or were in the same boat as me, it seemed like.
So what I'm hearing is that post-draft, keep your phone close by and expect a call from the Giants.
Yeah.
Giants,
Hopefully.
Jets or Lions, right?
Yeah. Yeah. My I guess Coach Bird had said he had chit-chatted with some of the scouts that knew who I was, and said I was definitely one of the better athletes at the event. But I guess unfortunately I didn't speak with them myself, but hopefully good things come from those conversations he had with them.
I'll be keeping track of Gangrene Nation's UDFA tracker for sure.
Right. Yeah, definitely.
I would say too with the Lions. I mean, we saw this year Jared Goff threw an interception without throwing the football against the Bears. So they could use that as much quarterback help as they need. No offense,
Right.
Jared Goff, it just happened. And also, I mean, I can see you as a guy that would bite some kneecaps for Coach Campbell out there in Detroit.
Oh yeah,
I had to do it.
Yeah, he's awesome. Him and his coffee.
Oh yeah, it's unhealthy. It is very unhealthy. Jackson's a huge coffee guy. I don't know how he does it, because I just got to limit myself, like inside, like in my mind, I just got to limit myself.
3 today, Omar. Big coffee.
That's not healthy. This is not healthy. But yeah, I guess going on to my next question. Again, I know Jackson's talking about like the spectrum of questions that we have. Like, I guess how this is evolving is like I'm more of like the pop culture guy, and like he's the X's and O's guy. But so I noticed that you're on Destroying's video. And he seemed to be impressed with your kick. Were you able to talk to him? I know he has stake in one of the FCF teams. Jackson's a huge FCF guy. I'm a USFL guy when it comes to that. But can we look for you out in the FCF if the NFL doesn't call?
Yeah, I mean, definitely keeping all doors open at this point. Yeah, and it was definitely cool that he was there. It was crazy to see kind of the behind the scenes of one of those videos and stuff like that. He basically just has a guy with a camera follow him around throughout the day, and then obviously they cut out the best clips and stuff like that. But I didn't even know I was on there, and then someone had sent it to me, so it was pretty funny to see myself on a video. I think it had like 900,000 views at the time I saw it, so I was like, "That's insane!" Like I'm on that video, but yeah, definitely, like I said, keeping all opportunities open at this point, and I know a lot of leagues are starting back up and stuff like that. So definitely a good time to kind of graduate and see what's next.
Neil, if you somehow find yourself on the Tampa Bay Vipers in the XFL, I will be the first in line to buy that jersey. Absolutely. So.
Yeah, Tampa Bay, that'd be pretty cool. Obviously living there and go to the Bucks games, and hopefully Bruce Arians sees me, I guess.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Hey, keeping any door cracked open in Tampa right now, right? So,
yeah.
um, Neil, and we've talked a little bit about this before, but I'm curious to get your take. Who is probably the best draft prospect, whether it was at San Diego State or Morgan State, that you've played against at some point?
Best draft prospect. Right now, I'm just out of who I know. I'd probably say either Daniel Bellinger or Matt Ariza, or even the D lineman Cam Thomas, at all three at San Diego State. Just because I think the NFL's kind of realized that SDSU puts out some ballers every once in a while. So finding guys like that who just fit in with a lot of teams, like DeMonte KZ with the Cowboys right now, and Rashad Penny kind of finding his groove with the Seahawks. I think those three guys are like perfect resemblance of kind of what SDSU puts out into the league. So I think those three guys, in no order, are definitely gonna make a big impact with some NFL teams this year.
And hey, at least you got to see Trey McBride on the other side of the field, right?
Right.
So
Yeah, for sure.
Tampa, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Two West tight ends.
One guy I'm curious to get your take on from your time at SDSU, Bill Dunkel, the offensive lineman. Any words on him after coming off?
Yeah, he like when he got to SDSU, he was obviously a big recruit and stuff like that. And especially when I was at safety, the whole thing was like, don't get dunked. That's what they would say, like if he really got a hold of you and tossed you around. So it was kind of like the thing. You would see it on film all the time. He'd just get a hold of a linebacker, D lineman, whatever, and just kind of throw him. So yeah, I definitely think obviously he seems more like a run blocking mauler, I guess they call it nowadays, guard. But yeah, I think if he gets with the right team and the right coaches, I definitely think he could be a very good guard in the NFL. He's a big guard too. I think he's like 6'4", 6'5", and when I was there, he was like 370. So I don't know what he weighs nowadays, but yeah, I definitely think he'll be a great prospect.
Yeah, about Will Dunkel. I mean, Jackson mentioned that name, brought back a memory I forgot I had from this past season, where I'm watching Mexico State, San Diego State. Play goes on the sideline, and Will Dunkel has the San Diego State bench on top of him. He's on his back, the bench is on top of him. And one of my favorite calls from our friend of the podcast, Rich Waltz. A lot to unpack there. That's really all he says.
Right. Yeah.
But you need the chaos.
Yeah, he's a good guy too. He's a good guy, and he was a hard worker there at San Diego State. Local San Diego kid, so it was cool that he stayed and then did so well.
26-inch vertical at the combine, which is just wild to think of someone big jumping that high.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's crazy. A lot of the San Diego guys did really, really well in the combine, which is definitely really cool to see.
Yeah, wow. I mean, I gotta take a second to just think about 26-inch vertical for a wow. I feel bad about myself, but I guess going on to going on to my last question. In terms of the nightlife, New Orleans is like a city known for its nightlife. Were you able to enjoy any of that? How does it compare to the Baltimore nightlife?
Um, so the night after the game, I think the game ended around 7, and it was like Mardi Gras festivities and stuff like that. But my flight, I had to be on the bus to go to the airport at 3 a.m. the next morning. So unfortunately, I didn't go out that Saturday night. But we did see a lot of the Mardi Gras floats and stuff like that, and we were out eating dinner and stuff like that. So it's definitely a very cultural town. A lot of food and a lot of history there. Compared to Baltimore, Baltimore is definitely different. I'd say Baltimore is more of a true businessy city, not as much culture and stuff like that. It seems like New Orleans definitely has like so much food and the French Quarter and Mardi Gras and all that stuff going on. Especially when we were there, such a cool time to be there. So in comparison, I guess I'd say it just seems like there's more culture and history really in the downtown area. So it was definitely like I said, we were hosted well, and it was a great area to have the game. And I guess I'd say seems more like more people are out later, at least when we were there in New Orleans, than here in Baltimore.
If you get picked up by Baltimore somehow in the UDFA process, this could be your moment, like Kellen Mond tweeting out, "Who would ever want to live in Minnesota?" Could be this moment for you, right? So,
right. Yeah. Hey, what do they say? No notoriety is bad, or whatever.
So it's something along those lines,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, I gotta say, you didn't really hold back on I wouldn't say criticism, but I was expecting something different. Like the harbor's cool. I guess you're not as much a water guy, so I guess that qualifies you as an Army fan. So
Did you not get
that's
the
great.
crab cakes down there, man? Come on.
My mom goes crazy for the crab cakes. No, we really like it here. I'm still out here right now, so like we do really like it. The weather's like you think the weather's going to get cold in it. It does a little bit January, February, and like we really like where we live by the water and stuff like that. But I just like the culture and stuff in New Orleans does seem like more evident than here. Like people are more proud of the city of New Orleans, I'd say. It seems like.
I mean, that makes sense. I guess like the culture. Me being a resident of a multicultural town myself, I kind of do see that with El Paso. And I mean, shoot, I guess we got to make it a habit now. I mean, we asked Dyson Roberts, South Carolina State punter, about his experience with El Paso nightlife. I feel like we got to have a nightlife question with every single podcast guest, Jackson. So that's going on the bingo card. But one more question I have is so Dyson Roberts made a claim that he was the hardest hitting punter in the MEAC. After all, you played safety at San Diego State. Do you have not to start any punter beef within the MEAC, but do you have a rebuttal towards that?
He can be the hardest hitting if I'm the best tackler, so it works out. I'll secure the tackle, but he can hit harder. That's fine with me.
I like that answer because in high school I was definitely a wrap-up guy. Yeah, I mean there's nothing wrong with being a wrap-up guy. It's not sexy, but it gets the job done.
Yeah, there you go.
Neil, you've been so generous with your time. I appreciate you coming on again. And man, we'll definitely be pulling for you throughout this whole process for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, no, I'm certainly excited to. Hope your name gets called on draft day. But I mean, shoot, nothing wrong with being a UDFA. Like Jackson's guy Jim Hart, great UDFA quarterback for the St. Louis Cardinals. I beat him to the Jim Hart reference. So
yeah, but I really appreciate being on and enjoyed it for sure.
Oh, thank you. It means a lot. I mean, you don't have to lie to us. You know, but But we always enjoy your presence. I mean, and really any guests we have, but unless Jackson has anything final to say.
I'm good, man. Thanks for coming on so much. It's been awesome.
Yeah.
Anytime. Come on.
All right.
Yeah, appreciate you, Neil.
Definitely.
I'm sorry.
Talk soon.
Yeah, talk to you soon, man. Yeah, that was great. And until next time, peace on Slug one.